everyone, welcome back. Charlene Adsma here with Irish Fiddle Foundations, week 18, I think. Yeah, we're working on reels, which are everybody's favorite kind of tune, right? But they're a bit tricky, so we're going to kind of keep it simple with this great tune, The Humours of Tulla. Now, last week we worked on the A part, where we learned some notes, and we learned a type of bowing, a bowing pattern. So let's practice that real quick, just to kind of get loosened up. Okay. So just to remind you, we're going to use the Kevin Burke style bowing, or at least a version of it here. Ta-da! Right. So it's round 3, 2 bowing. So 3/8 notes slurred, 3/8 notes slurred, and 2 separate. So that's where we're going to put our brains for right now. All right, let's do it a few times. Here we go. 1, and ready, and. One more. So remember that G takes you to the B part, right? I did mention last week that we were going to talk about that seesaw sort of thing, where we have like a drone note, an incessant note, and then like some notes that change, right? That sort of thing. And not a big deal if it's on one string, but when you have to change strings in order to address that drone note and the change notes, well then people call that cross bowing. Okay, I might call it like a seesaw thing or whatever, but what, no matter which way you talk about it, it's a tricky situation, right? You can go when you cross strings, you can go, or you can go, or what about slurs? Or what about slurs this way? I guess that's the same, isn't it? But all the same, it's not totally simple. So one thing I've discovered from having listened to a lot of great Irish fiddle players, some people will do it really cleanly, right? Play one note at a time without catching any other strings as double stops. Other people will kind of get a little grit in their playing and make those cross-bowing notes into double stops. And I think it's kind of a cool idea. Especially if you really want to get some style and you want to, maybe you don't want to sound too clean and too classical because you'll blow your cover. Just throwing that out there, okay? So let me show you how to deal with that on the measure 2 in Humours of Tulla. Now, just to remind you, that's the one that goes. And with the bowing. All right, so here's a cool little trick. So did you know that when you put your bow on, let's say the A string, well, we'll say just on the A string here, you can play closer to the D string. Or you can, we'll just do open A. You can play closer to the D string. You can also play at a different angle closer to the A string. Or maybe it's easier if you see it this way. Closer to the D string, and then closer to the E string. Still on A. That's a lot of play, isn't it? Now watch this. This is so cool. When I finally figured this out, I was kind of excited. So what you can do is, remember our polka bow where we squeeze our little accent? When you get really close to the E string and you squeeze, or you don't squeeze, you just play the A. But when you do squeeze, you can bring that E along with you, right? So watch this. Wasn't very clean there, but that's okay. I'll go separate. clever. All right, so like I said, it's not super clean, but it is kind of a fun way to play those cross bowings. This is not maybe the best example of it, but it's at least kind of your first foray into recognizing that situation, that particular pattern when you run across them in reels. We'll do more with that later. So B part. I promised the B part. Here is, ta-da, your part patterns again for the B part. Boy, they look pretty similar to that A part, except you'll notice I used a lot of shades of green. Isn't that crazy? You know, I use those, right, when it starts out the same and it kind of ends a little differently. So that's exactly what's going on here. In fact, I'm not even sure why I used a blue at the end. I could have just used the yellow. Because they're exactly the same. Isn't that great? That's great. So let's work on that light green. The light green goes like this. That's a lot of notes in a row, isn't it? Don't worry, I'll explain in a moment. So it's an A, an F sharp, D, back to the F sharp. Might as well leave it down, right? Okay, very nice. And I left it green because it's high, right? It ends on that F sharp. We'll do the same thing with the medium green. It goes like this. It ends a little bit lower on that E. So it starts the same. Instead of going to the D, you're just going to go to that G, low 2 on the E string, and then to E. So to reiterate, light green in a medium green. D. G. E. Now the dark green ends on the lowest note of all three. Starts the same, and then it does this. It ends on a D. Also, that little section starts on a D too, doesn't it? Well, you can come out ahead, and if you prepare for that D in advance, right? Put that third finger down, leave it down, go up F sharp, open E, back to D. Very nice. And that blue block there, which shouldn't be blue at all, it should be yellow, is and that G is there to tell you that you're going back into the B part. Okay, so honestly, you do have like all of the whole B part here, right? You'll notice I did not get you the bowing yet, because I think it would be a better choice in this case for you to kind of get an idea of where we're heading from the beginning. Dark green. Okay, cool. So the bowing we're going to use here is one that I've noticed gets used here and there. And I used it here specifically to avoid having to do rolls or other ornaments, because most people will play this B part like this. Okay? But we're not there yet, and I still want you to get that groove, that chug. So we're going to just subdivide into all eighth notes, and we're going to practice our cuts. Okay? Here's the bowing we're going to use. Ta-da! I've called it the Vivaldi style bowing. So I think I told you guys that any of you Book 4 Suzuki kids out there will remember, if you've played the Vivaldi A minor first movement concerto. Woo! So there's... Right, it's down, up, down, up, down, up. And that was the biggest pain in the butt, let me tell you. But hey, who knew that you were getting ready to play Irish music when you were practicing Vivaldi? Crazy. So in this case, we've got two notes that are the same on that slur. So what do? We cut. And it goes like this, from that light green. Keep going. Don't need to cut here. So we're not going to do the Vivaldi bowing there. Since it's the exact same notes as in the A part, we'll just use the Kevin Burke bows there instead, okay? Back to the second half of the B part. There you go. And if you're curious to see what it's like when you do that pretty quickly, I'll do that just for fun. Wasn't exactly the same because I'll be honest, nobody thinks about bowings when we play, right? So we have to rely on working on our deliberate practice on specific well, for people who have not listened to music a whole lot, to Irish music a whole lot, you'll want to practice some specific bowing patterns, and when deliberately, so that when you are just playing for fun and not thinking about it and having a beer or whatnot and playing around, you'll hopefully one of these bows will come out. And you know, sort of like an idiom when we speak when we're speaking a new language, right? So let's play that whole let's play the whole tune, okay? This is your chance to play along. I have a recording, of course, on my website, and I'm going to put my sheet music up with the particular bowings I'm using this time, right there, okay? Feel free to use that the cross bowing double stop idea if you're ready for that. If not, don't worry about it. Here we go, right from the beginning. Humors of Tulla with a couple of bowing patterns to practice. Here we go. So there you go. The Humors of Tulla. What a great tune. Everybody plays it. It's easy to keep track of, and now you've got some bows to throw on that. And maybe we'll come up with another reel for next week, or slides, or I don't know. we're still working through this. So anyway, thanks so much for your patience, and I hope you're enjoying this. Please let me know what you think in the comments. If you have any questions, if you have any ideas, I am all ears. You never know where this sort of project can take you. So get me some input, and I'll have a look. Okay. All the best. Take care.